Yeah, they all matter. Games 1 and 2, and you see in college football, there's teams that should win and should win on a Saturday, and guess what? They don't. Maybe against a lesser opponent. So, when you're dealing with 1822, you just got to make sure their minds are set each and every week. That's job of a head coach is make sure by the time Saturday gets there, their minds are focused on what job they got to get done on that given day. So, and with league play, we're not going to change how we prepare, how we prepared for game 1, game 2, game 3, starting league play. We had the same Tuesday practice. It's a grit day. Some kids might say it's bloody Tuesday, just because, it's a very physical practice. And, today I saw, a young man with a fat lip, just, somebody got underneath him in offense versus defense. But, we go back and try to define who we are still as a program. I still think we're far from who we are offensively, defensively, and special teams. And so for us, it's just another week of, finding out who we are. And that's exciting each and every day. I can't wait to go watch Tuesday's practice when I leave here.
Is it a challenge for you as a coach to keep the guys on an even keel and doing the same thing when you know the defending national champs are your first game in conference play?
Well, it's 2 times in the last 3 years that we've had to do it. And I feel a little better going this time, than February 22nd of the COVID year. And, not quite ready, not having an off season, and, went in there and they kind of had the upper hand in it. And, for us, they're the standard, so to see where you are, to use that as a measuring stick, we did that in the November, and guess what? We were far off. So we knew going in, and for me, that's a measuring stick, how we recruit, how we develop, where our kids put their heads down every night, what food do you feed them, using that as a measuring stick, knowing we have to get to that point that we can compete with the best in our league. And, so for us, it's a challenge, but to be able to go in and play the number 1 team and play the standard, the blueprint of what this league's about. Around here, I get tired. We play in the toughest kind. Guess what? I'm glad we do. And for us to be able to raise up our standards of, again, how we recruit, how we develop, how we feed our kids, how we get stronger in the off season, and we get to see how much improvement we made since January come this Saturday.
Doug, is this the most hostile environment your team goes to, or is it the most hostile environment in the conference?
I really haven't been to the Fargo Dome. When we went there the first time, it was COVID. I think it was a third full, and it was still loud. So yeah, I can't imagine 19,000 people in that stadium. And, beyond, today we went indoors, and our kids will tell you their ears are ringing right now. Fortunately, we got great sound system over in the Watts, and we played as loud as could be for the whole practice. I'm sure defense was going crazy, because defensively, when they're on the field, guess what? You can hear a pin drop. It's when the offense goes on the field that, they know how to get loud. So, but we use that as preparation, because we got to eliminate those mistakes. We saw that at Kentucky. We're in a coming out situation 2 times early in the game, and those things kill you. When you get penalties, it's 3rd and 1, now it's 3rd and 6. It's 3rd and 8, now it's going to be, 3rd and 13. So, and that was because of the coming out and the crowd noise there. So, we needed to assess that. We got to find a solution to it, and we're going to get tested this Saturday.
Not to take anything away from any other direct conference teams, but you're playing Kentucky and North Dakota State kind of back to back, with the bye week. So does that help you from a preparation standpoint, confidence level?
I think anytime you can play the best competition, you get a better understanding of who we are. For me, okay, am I going to learn more about my team, about our locker room, about our kids when we're winning, 38-10, or am I going to learn more about my kids when we're down 28, 21-0 at a halftime, knowing we got to go play a second half? So, we use those as learning experiences, because it's not all roses and, sunshine and rainbows, each and every week. There's going to be adversity you got to go through. So to see our kids be able to react to that type of adversity, I think we learn more sometimes in that loss at Kentucky than we did in our first 2 games. And, we had 2 weeks to kind of correct that. And the one thing I'll say about our kids, and, I said today in the team, I'm not worried about our kids walking in anywhere and not being physical and not playing hard with great effort. I'm not. And, that's got to be our standard, and that's how we practice, and that's how, and come Saturdays, we got, no matter who we're playing, we got to be physical.
What makes this North Dakota State ground game just so good?
They're consistent. They stick to it. People would say, they run the ball 60 times a game in some cases. And guess what? All those aren't positive yards. Might be 1 yard, might be a negative 1 yard. We saw that last year. But guess what they do? They have a system. They know who they are. They're going to stick to it. And, they know when to crank it up, and they're going to come downhill at you, and they're going to test your will, test your character, test your strength. And for us, that's a great measuring stick against the best program in our league.
I think on their first drive last week against South Dakota, they used 5 different backs, so they got a pretty good repertoire.
They do. And, they just, no matter who's in the game, they're running the same thing, and they do it different ways. People say it's simple. It's a little more, complex. It might look simple, but how they change, they make subtle adjustments up front, who they're double teaming in, who they're kicking out, the A gap, they're going to test A gap integrity the whole game. And if you're out of your gap, it only takes one time that you're out of your gap, they're going to send the guard and the tailback right through it for a big game.
You said you learned a lot about your team, even in a loss. And a lot of people thought they played well for Kentucky. Where is the confidence level of this team coming into conference play, and how much confidence do they need? The guys you talked to were very confident going into a game like this.
I hope our young men are confident. I mean, we work hard. We work hard to win football games. And so we work hard in the off season. I think it starts in the, strength and conditioning. And, I got Jimmy Roenberg did a great job getting our kids ready, had a tough summer. That's where the bond of the team really comes together and those kids gain confidence when all of a sudden they gain 15 pounds and they're lifting more weight than they ever have in their whole life. And they feel it and they take that to the field. Confidence for me is having the ability to play fast, to be able to know what you're doing. That's where confidence comes. So, if our kids are, if we can be simple but complex, kind of do what they're confident in doing and what their abilities show. Sometimes when you see players, they're 19-year-old young men, they're not completing maybe it's us. And maybe we got to assess what their strengths are, and we got to find ways to put them in better situations. So, I think the confidence, I see it every day on the field. I saw it at Kentucky. I really did. I saw it coming off the field at Kentucky. Our kids didn't back down. Now it goes to practice execution turns into game reality. We didn't execute quite the way we needed to at times in that football game. And those things come to bite you. And those are the things that we're constantly working on when we take the field on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
You sense your group's refreshed a little bit. I know there's going to be 8 long weeks here.
Yeah.
Following the
It is. Our kids love routine. Our kids love when we got Sunday practice. They got Monday, academics. They got Tuesday, full padded hard practice, Wednesday practice, Thursday. So they get in that routine. Sometimes, the bye week, they had a chance to get into the training room. They had a chance to get back in the weight room, maybe an extra day in the weight room and get their bodies right. But we train them to play, 11 plus games. You're only guaranteed 11, but we try to train them to play. And now we're at 8 plus. And every game in this league is going to be critical. And really, if you go into our locker room, there's, if you look at the schedule, you see one word on the schedule, and it's North Dakota State. And we got to do that every week. We got to take today, get better, tomorrow, get better, as we start gearing up for Saturday and then focusing on taking care of business at North Dakota State. They just, they got 3 All-Americans. I think that helps. It all starts with players, and then I think they got a great scheme that fits their players. I mean, as coaches, that's what we got to do. It's players first, and then what type of schemes, formations do you have that fit the strength of your players? So they got an All-American defensive end. They got an All-American inside linebacker. They got an All-American safety. And they fit the scheme around those guys, and those guys make plays. And then those guys trust the guys to the right of them, to the left of them. And with the tradition and the winning and the confidence that they have, and, they count how many games they've played in the last 3 years. Okay, they've played a lot of football games with those young men against the best competition in the country. And so, yeah, they're going to have that confidence. But again, that's why you play these games, and we're grateful that we get the opportunity to go play them. And for us, we want to make sure that we go in, our kids can play fast, and that we can execute at a high level.
North Dakota State obviously does a lot of things well. I asked some of your guys, what do they have to contend with? Their answer was our brotherhood. That's got to make you feel good.
It is, and I tell our kids, we're gonna, constantly get better as a football team. I don't think we're close. When I picture what our kids can do, I see it on the practice field. I feel we have very explosive players on the perimeter. We have explosive players in our backfield. I see explosiveness out of our quarterback. I see our offensive line getting better each and every week, playing together. Defensively, I see guys that really trust the process, believe in their coaching, run to the football. I feel they're very athletic, that they can run. And, I'll take these guys into battle versus anybody, I mean, I'm proud of them, and excited to be their head football coach.